20 episodes after I covered Bad Dudes, here I am with its spiritual successor and the other game on the collection it was on, Too Crude, or Two Crude Dudes, or Crude Buster, depending on where and what you're playing on. This playthrough is from nearly 2 years ago, I just forgot I recorded it. My folder of unused recordings has many games with multiple recording sessions starting with T, so this one recording blended in with them and was easy to miss. The story goes that New York got nuked, and 20 years later the restoration can begin, but an organisation named Big Valley showed up and took over, conquering through suspiciously advanced and weird weaponry. The government sent in the Too Crude, made up of Ruth, who I'm playing as, and Sid, who doesn't get to help because this is a one-player run. As Ruth enters the game breaking through this wall, you may notice the obnoxious arcade monitor filter. I somehow didn't notice as I was playing and forgot to turn it off. Sorry about that. Like Bad Dudes, this game is a beat 'em up restricted to a single plane, but it's much more over the top, as you can see by me picking up and throwing cars. I can punch, kick, jump and grab enemies by getting close to them. I have jogging men with mullets and beards to take out and guys with mohawks. As I fight them I get my first melee weapon, a metal pole, to beat people with. There are also times where I have to knock down bits of rubble with my fists. I do love how gingerly Ruth inches forwards while holding a melee weapon. Mohawk guys fight by throwing weird frisbees at me that also travel back along the ground. Next enemy is these fat guys with insane underbites and hunchbacks. Then comes these guys riding weird motorbikes, not to run you over with but to vault on your head with. Then a guy in a suit with a flamethrower, he's my first mini-boss. He's a pain to approach, the flamethrower has great range and if I get close he can also whack me with it. I lure him off screen and keep hitting him there until he dies, it just seems to work better. After him is more of the same enemies until this masked man jumps out a window at me. These ones tend to fight with a lot of jump kicks. Past them is the toppled Statue of Liberty as I face the level's true boss, a man who wields a snake like a whip. I knock down the wall he's standing on, but approaching him is a nightmare. I have to pick up his backup and throw them at him. There's also more snakes that sneak along the ground and wrap themselves around me. After he takes damage he starts running in up close to fight hand to hand, but this makes it easy for me to knock him off screen with crouch attacks and then pin him there with constant jump kicks. It takes forever since he has so much health and he breaks out of it, but eventually he runs out and dies. Stage 2 has me dealing with nuclear winter. I can also take this road sign at the start and use it to batter these buff guys who are almost as rectangular as my character. I like how I can kick while holding a car without moving any other part of my body. As I continue they add explosive barrels, guys driving the most uncomfortable looking cars, and dogs. Eventually this dude flies by and he's immune to traffic lights. He's flying a guy in a mask with a cyborg arm. The arm can stretch but can't hit my head while crouching despite being level with my face, so I just squat down at the edge of the screen and keep kicking. That doesn't work though, so I have to bait him back on screen and then start hitting. He'll get knocked off again, so I wait for him again and repeat until he's dead. As I continue through the streets, mutant Santas have a go. They reach into their sacks and throw out needles and grenades. He jumps all over the place and takes little damage until I trap him in the corner and make him blow himself up. Past him I face a little tank. A tank that explodes from a punch. The Santa was more durable. Further on is the next boss, these martial artist triplets. Their main attack is to slide kick along the floor. Their simple moves and lack of ranged attacks makes them easy to take down, but at half health the last one mutates into a naked lion man. I just stand there mashing and we triad attacks. I get a claw, he gets a punch or two, then repeat. But I have infinite credits and he does not, so I win. Stage 3 is in this abandoned factory in the middle of a forest. The mass enemies can crawl along walls, including walls that don't exist it seems. The first chunk of the level has absolutely nothing new to talk about until this guy clinging to a wall and throwing grenades. The mini-boss appears and it's just some guy in sunglasses clicking his fingers and shuffling his feet. His 2 kicks do not justify that huge life bar, even if the jump kick can hit several times in a moment. Eventually he mixes things up at half health when he rips his arm off to reveal a cannon, but giving him a projectile changes the fight from being boring to being annoying. Eventually I drop him and get moving again. I get to use an electric cable as a whip. That's all that happens until this helicopter appears and starts throwing several mullets at me. It has its own gun as well, but I can punch the chunk of it holding the passengers off, pick it up and throw it at it. Then I just wait for it to lower and start beating it to death. Who's even inside to fly it at this point? Then comes a conveyor that moves at the same speed I walk before I break out of the building. Outside is where the boss gets dropped off, a man with horns and tusks who fights mainly by charging into me. He jumps all over the screen so I jump after him throwing out kicks. I also catch him with my fists while he charges, still taking damage myself. That is the fight, and it also goes on forever until he finally drops. Stage 4 and I'm on a bridge. I decide to hang about on the top of the screen throwing cars around. After a bit I have to fight 2 mini-bosses at once, Flamethrower Dude and martial artist pre-Were Lion transformation. Then past that are 2 more martial artists. During this I get a new mini-boss, a gross armadillo man. He'll curl up into a ball to spin dash around the screen before stopping to laugh for a bit. This stage has constant rubble being blown in by the wind, which I punch into this guy to damage him from a distance. I then have to face another flamethrower and martial artist duo, along with another helicopter. Past that is the boss, a disturbing man with gross mantis arms made of flesh. He can't even pull up his falling trousers. I start by throwing every mullet and road sign I can at him, but he can also shoot fireballs and dropkick. This guy is a right pain. You can get one punch in and then he demolishes you. I just waited it out until he ran out of health. Stage 5 turns the 2 repeated mini-bosses from the last level into a normal enemy, as they're everywhere now. It means it takes forever to make any progress. Mullets now ride minecarts, but there's nothing else new at first. It turns out this place is a train station and I climb down a ladder into a lab. I have 2 of these finger clickers with cyborg arms to fight at once, that takes a while. But this time at half health the remaining one will explode to reveal a full robot. When not spamming double overhead fists, it's taking its head off and throwing it around. Like every boss, too much health, such little variety in the fight, takes forever to just die. At this point there aren't any new enemies to bring up. Eventually I reach the end of the level for a literal Spider-Man to drag me off screen and reduce me to a skeleton. He does this a few times until I manage to knock him down and start the fight properly. He fights like a sumo wrestler, advancing forward with his slaps. He's easily spammed though. He gets stuck against the wall and I get several hits in, then he rears back and repeats. So I just keep repeating and we get one of the quicker late bosses out of the way. Stage 6, the final level. First I fight another tank, then comes a stretch where I have to fight every mini-boss several times, which includes me going up this lift. It takes me far above the city and ends with one last robot. After the mini-boss rush is a normal boss rush. First the snake whip guy, then the rest are in test tubes. Face Horn Man, Spider-Man, Whale-Iron. After repeating those, this little professor guy shows up, presumably the one responsible for creating these guys. He's either crying over the dead lion man or breastfeeding from him. Either way he tries fighting me too and he's a total pushover. I pin him in the corner and kick that fucking nerd to death, but then he mutates into the final boss, a green and red goat man. He dashes forward while also punching, and he has the werewolf's flying kick from Altered Beast. But he's like every other boss. Too much health, not enough moves, takes forever. He does get something new at low health though. He'll climb on the ceiling and spit out little versions of himself. But that's it, and I eventually take him out too. The wounded doctor escapes, saying how he wished he could have experimented on someone as tough as Ruth, and says he'll be back. The base explodes and 2 Crude make out with a huge reward even though one of them didn't do anything. They then go off for a drink. I'm sure my lack of enthusiasm gave away that I didn't care for this game. It's just kind of boring to play, just like Bad Dudes was. I did like it a little more than Bad Dudes though. That game had the meme and the level 2 song going for it, but this game had much more character in every way. Doesn't make it enjoyable, as I made clear, so much of the game is spent fighting boring bosses with tiny move pools and massive health bars. Some of those bosses felt like they could have been cool in a better game. I'm struggling to gather any more thoughts on this. I think you may understand how I simply forgot I had played this for 2 years.